That's the Atari 2600 paddle controller. It's a paddle controller, and you can take this. Twist top off. See right here. So you can take that off, and you can squirt some silicone or oil in there. You can put some oil in there, right around here, and so the twist for the twisting. And this is the top to it. But that's an Atari 2600 paddle controller, and you can take the two screws out right there. There's two screws right here and right there. Take this off, and you can spray the mechanism in the back of it, and you take that twist top off, because it's just pressure fitted down there. See, with it's like an oval, and it fits over that oval, and so that's what I did. And then there are two. See, there's two connected to one connection that goes to the Atari, left side and right side. So you have two sets of paddle controllers, so up to 4 people can play. But what I did is I took one of the controllers. I cut one of the controllers off because it's always the second controller that works the best. The first controller is like skippy. When you move back and forth, it skips, and it makes the game really hard to play, and you can't get a good score. So, that's why I took the one off. I made sure the second one didn't skip, so I took it off, and I put it over there on that one, on that double one. But see, this goes right back on there like this. You just line it up, and you put it back on there. So yeah. Now it's all back on there again. Okay, so these two are the first controllers. That's the first controller, and that's the first controller. And so I got a bum set of paddle controllers. But these are the paddle controllers for the Atari 2600, and there's always 2 of them. They're connected like this. So what I did is I took the one I knew worked from the number 2 one from the other set of controllers, the number 2, and I rewired it. And that wiring it's different colors. They're different colors on from number 2 to number 1. So what I did is I'm saying this wire, which is from the Atari 2600, you have it plugged in like this. Okay, so you have it plugged in like this. So that wire's from the Atari 2600. So, and this is the first controller. This controls the first player. This one controls the first player. So what happened is I wire it like this. So this is from this wire is from the Atari. This wire right here is from the Atari going to the Atari right there, going like this. Okay, so that's from the Atari. And then this wire right here, is from the paddle controller. So that's how I worded it. I worded it, the wires from the Atari, which are the wires coming from the Atari from here to here, is black, yellow, red, and brown. That's the wires from the Atari. Okay, now from the paddle controller to the wires coming from the Atari. So the paddle controllers are green, purple, yellow, and black. They each have 4 wires. So how I wired it. This is how I wired it. From the Atari, from here to here. From the Atari, I wired it black to green, and then from the Atari, yellow to purple. So it's then from the Atari, red to yellow, and brown to the black. So I'll say that one more time. This is from the Atari. See, that's the wire from the Atari. From the Atari is black to the pedal controller, which is green. Then from the Atari, yellow to the pedal controller, purple. Then from the Atari, red to the pedal controller, yellow. Then from the Atari, brown to the pedal controller, black. So it goes black to green, yellow to purple, red to yellow, and brown to black. So that's how you do it. That's how you wire from the wire coming out of the Atari to the pedal controller. When you switch pedal controllers, because I took the second one off from this one. See, I cut the wire. That's the second one. That's the second controller. This does the first controller. I took the second one off because I made sure that works without skipping. So I took the second controller off this set of pedal controllers for the Atari 2600. I cut it, and these two are first. This is first. So now these two are second and second. See, I got second controller and second controller on the one controller because it's always the first controller that skips. So that's why it doesn't have first. It has second and second. So I wired them so they're first. This one's first, and this one's second. So first player and second player. That's how I wired them, because the wire there's a couple different colored wires when it's the second pedal controller. So what I did is wire the second pedal controller to the first wire. So I wired the second to the first. Okay, because the first always skips for some reason, and I couldn't get it not to skip. And the second one is always good. It don't skip. It's perfect. It works, goes left and right perfect. So that's the best wiring I could do when I put the second onto the first, the second onto the first. So now this is the second controller from the other pair of pedal controllers. But it's wired on the first one. So this is the first player, and that's the second player pedal controllers for the Atari 2600, and it kind of works. That's the best way I could get it to work, is that wiring diagram I told you. The wiring diagram where it's coming from the Atari to the pedal controller. So it's black, green, yellow, purple, red, yellow, brown, black, and that's the wiring diagram I got there. It's kind of hard to see, so that's why I'm kind of showing you exactly how to do it. I just use regular packing tape because you're dealing with very low voltage, very little electric in there, so it don't matter. But there's a couple wires in there you touch together and it'll reset the game. So you don't want to get a bunch of wires touching together, so it won't shock you or nothing, but it could mess up your Atari. But it hasn't yet. It hasn't messed up my Atari yet. But try to just only touch 2 wires at a time, and even that, if you touch the wrong 2 wires together, it'll reset the game. And I've had it so that this, when you're pushing the button, it makes the pedal, makes the on the screen object go back and forth, or whatever the roller controller, this twist controller does. I've had it where you're pushing the red button, and it'll move it back and forth. Like you keep pushing it in, it'll move it back and forth instead of what it's supposed to do, like shoot the ball or catch the ball or whatever it's supposed to do. So I've had it where it does that too. And I thought about working it like that, but I don't want to do that because I don't know what each game would be. Each game with pedal controllers would be like. So I wanted to wire it right, where this twist control controls your paddle, and this button controls like if you're releasing the ball or catching the ball or whatever it does. I wanted that to work right. So that's the wiring program to make it work right. And that's the Atari 2600 paddle control. I'm not sure why the first this is why for the first, but I'm not sure why on a paddle controller the first one always skips. I couldn't get it not to skip. So what I did is took from my other pedal controller here, I took from there and there, put it on there, and it's still kind of, I don't know, it's kind of iffy if it skips or not. But that's the best I could do. It didn't matter how much oil I put in. I took this cap off, put oil in there, and then took those 2 screws out, and took that back off and sprayed it all down in there in that little niche in there, and then the round thing. I sprayed that several times, and I still couldn't get it not to skip. So I don't know. Maybe it's a manufacturer glitch that the first one always skips, and that's what makes the game hard. You can't even play Kaboom that. I mean, it'd be lucky to get 200 if that damn pedal skips at all. Skipping means that when I twist this, and like on Kaboom, where you got the bucket, where you're controlling the bucket. Like when I twist this, it'll like skip 1 or 2 or even 3 of the bucket widths. So the bucket's what 1.5 inches, 2 inches. So it skips that full distance. It skips it. So when it does that, that really screws you up bad. So, I mean, if it even skips 1 bucket length or even a half a bucket length, that you got to be very accurate on Kaboom. So if it skips even a half a bucket, that's a movement you didn't intend to do. So at the time you intended to do it, so it screws you up. So that's why I'm trying to get these both of these to work properly, and that's the best wiring pattern I have. And I went through all the wiring patterns, every possible wiring pattern, believe me, and that was the best I could find. It worked the best. Then it's kind of iffy. I'm gonna play it and see. I'm gonna play Kaboom again and see. But anyway, that's the wiring pattern to the paddle controllers. And today is 9/2/2015. And I'd say about 15 minutes after 8 o'clock p.m. or a.m. That's a.m. I like to say a.m. to p.m. and p.m. to a.m. for some reason. But today is 8:15 a.m. in the morning. And that's what I found out about the Atari 2600 paddle controllers. It's always that first controller that skips like an idiot.